Kalifa and welcome to the Supper Club. Now the Supper Club with Kalifa is my weekly invitation to you to meet me in my kitchen where I show you how to cook beautifully remixed island and soul cuisine. I cook with simplicity of the heart and I hope that this food and this time spent together is a blessing to you. And before we get started into today's meal, I have a few things. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, join the community, and never miss a live stream or new content. Let's get started. Let me just tell you about what we have here. This is the buttermilk brine. I marinated it overnight. So basically I took buttermilk, vinegar, water, black pepper, sazon, green onions, ground mustard, hot sauce. I'll link to all of the things that I did in the recipe. You can okay, so when you marinate it, what you want to do is get a Ziploc bag, a 2-gallon Ziploc bag. You might want to double it because just in case the marinade seeps through. You put the chicken in there, you season it with your desired seasonings. I'm going to tell you what I did in the recipe that you can give. You want to pick the buttermilk, vinegar, green scallions, onions, and get it all marinated in. You're going to zip it up and put it in the refrigerator overnight. I'd say 24 hours if you have not a lot of time, 4 hours at the minimum. I did mine around 4 o'clock yesterday, so it's been about 24 hours. Now that we have this, what we're going to do is get the flour prepared, and we're going to add a little bit more flavor into the flour so it's not bland. Although the marinade has infused the chicken with amazing flavor, we still want to have that top coat. This is some smoked paprika, some sazon, this is some ground coriander, this is some ground mustard. I'm going to add some ground white pepper. And to give it a little kick, I'm going to add some cayenne pepper. And so what we're going to do, in addition to that, got to get some black pepper in it. And a little bit of salt. Actually, I'm going to use a different kind of salt. So we got some medallion sea salt flakes, and it's a bigger size salt. I'll show you. The flakes are much bigger, which I like. That ain't gonna work. This is about a tablespoon. I'm gonna get the whisk. We're just gonna get all of the clumps and the flour all uniform together and get ready to dip. Now once this is done, as you see, it's basically done, and we have the marinade, we're gonna add a little bit of oil to our cast iron pan. We're gonna turn it on medium-high heat, and you don't need a lot of oil. If we were frying chicken, you would want to use like vegetable oil, an oil that has a high propensity to not burn. But we're just going to use a little bit of olive oil, coat the bottom, because all we want to do is brown the top and the bottom part of our chicken. Most of the cooking will take place in our oven, which you want to preheat to 425, okay? So let me add some oil. Well, I'll wait to add the oil. And if you have any clumps in your flour, just go ahead and whisk it out. You want to even coat on your chicken. And you want to make sure that you have a sheet pan so that you can let the chicken rest once you dip it in the flour We're not going to double dip. I don't have any egg. Like I said, the buttermilk is enough. The key to getting some really good smothered chicken is in the marinade. Now the buttermilk, that's one flavor that you want. That's one component that you want in your marinade. And that's because buttermilk has, it's acidic and it's able to tenderize the meat. You also want to add in some hot sauce. Now this smells really amazing. Like I added in my aromatics, so I have, like I said, I have in my rosemary, my thyme, my green scallion. All of that had enough time to really like marry to the chicken, so it smells amazing. So we're gonna use our tongs. Make sure you have prepared these. You don't want to get messy in the kitchen. I'm not dressed to get messy, so we're gonna use this. What you're gonna do is just pick up a piece of chicken. Pick up a piece of chicken, dredge it off. You don't want too much of the buttermilk, and you literally just pop it in, coat the chicken, get it in the nooks. And once you feel like you have a good coating, you go ahead and just place it on your sheet rack and allow that to sit and rest while you go ahead and get the rest of the chicken together. So as you see, even when I pick it up, it has a really nice coat. So it's dusted off, has a really nice coat. We're going to go ahead and add it to the sheet, and we're going to repeat this until we're done. Now what I use is chicken thighs. I love skin on my chicken. Some people prefer to remove the skin. I would say keep it. Again, you want to dredge it off. I would say keep the skin on the chicken. I'm not a fan personally. I'm just not a fan of drumsticks. I like chicken thighs. Okay, so now that we have the chicken ready to rest before we add it to the pan, I have a few tips for you. Now this meal, it's not one of those quick and easy meals, but here's the caveat to that. If you're looking for a 30-minute or under meal, you can skip the step of even marinating and frying your own chicken. Go to your local grocery store, go to KFC, pick up a bucket of chicken, and you can continue on with the recipe from there. Just pick up a nice crispy original bucket of chicken, and then this is what you can do next. Like I said, the aromatics that I added in here, you can see like the thyme, I added in a bush of thyme. Okay, so now that we got that tip out the way, again, local grocery store, pick up a nice crispy bucket of chicken, and we'll go from there. We also do not want to discard all of the flour, because this is going to be the ingredient that's going to help us make our gravy. We're basically done with the marinade, so you don't have to worry about using that for any other part of this recipe. So I'm just going to go and scoop some flour in so that I can use it for the gravy, and I'll set that to the side. And so what you want to do is get some extra virgin olive oil. Now again, if you're frying chicken, as you can see, I didn't do some of the things that you would do if you were frying chicken. So that means in my flour, I didn't add baking powder, I didn't add cornstarch, I didn't use an egg. The egg I didn't need because the buttermilk helped the flour adhere. And I didn't add in any baking powder, any cornstarch, or any of those ingredients, because I'm not really going for that really crispy chicken at this moment. If you do want some really crispy fried chicken, those are two things that you can add into your flour. Again, baking powder and cornstarch. Now, I'm going to take my cast iron pan. I'm going to turn it on a medium-high heat. I'm going to let that get a little warm, and then I'm going to add in my olive oil. Now, again, for this side that we're making, we're going to make this really creamy roasted mashed potato. And what we're going to do is make garlic confit to make sure that our mashed potato is amazing. And what that means is we're just going to cook it in its fat. We're going to roast the garlic in olive oil for about a few minutes, and we're going to take that and add those roasted garlic pieces into our mashed potato. And it may seem easy for some people to make mashed potatoes, but I'm going to make it simple, and I'm going to show you step by step what you need to do to make sure it's creamy. And I really love cast iron skillet, so I advise, if you're looking for a go-to item in your kitchen for cooking, get you a cast iron skillet. A good quality one will run you about $50 to $60. This is not a Dutch oven cast iron, it's a regular pan, so I can use this for multiple things. So now we're going to go ahead and add our extra virgin olive oil. You just want to coat the bottom well enough so that your chicken doesn't stick. So let's go. Get the oil wise. Okay. So now we have a good amount. It's covering our bottom part of the pan. Okay guys, so now we're gonna get into the mashed potatoes. And again, I know it may seem silly, like why do we even have to go over how to make mashed potatoes? Believe it or not, some people are not familiar with how to make creamy, garlicky mashed potatoes. Now, I want to know in the comments below, let me know what's your favorite side. Now, I love green beans, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams. Those are the things I love as sides, but I want to know what you love. Now, it's really simple and easy to get prepped. All you have to do is take a shredder. You literally just shred the potatoes. And the best type of potatoes to use are gold potatoes. Yukon gold potato. Really creamy, fluffy texture to it. So go out and get you some gold mashed potatoes and get ready to make you some really good gold mashed potatoes. Really good mashed potatoes. Now you might like to leave a little bit of skin on it. So you want to get nice sides, and you want them all equal so that when they boil all at a consistently and uniform. So now we're going to take the mashed potatoes. We're going to take some salt. And we're going to take a little bit of the garlic, and we're going to go and get the mashed potatoes ready. So we have the water boiling. We're going to add in the mashed potatoes. It's no better thing to do than to add in a few pieces of garlic into your water so that you get the mashed potatoes a nice flavor. And we can't have mashed potatoes boiling without a little bit of salt in the water. And now that we got that in, we're gonna let that cook. And now it's time to get our chicken browned. So as I said, what you don't want to do is burn your chicken. You just want to get a nice brown. So we're going to place it skin down. And a good way to know if your if your oil is ready, you can take the bottom of one of these and you place it down, and then you'll notice that it'll have a bubble to it. Now you don't want them too high, because again, you don't want it to burn. So if you find that the temperature is too high, just take your time. Now we're going to let this cook for about 5 or so minutes. And we're going to come back and we're going to flip it. You want to cover the top. Again, you don't want the heat on too high because you don't want black chicken. You want a nice golden brown, because all we're going to do is once both sides are golden brown, we're going to pop it in the oven. And I already have my oven preheated on 425. I would say a cup and a half. Maybe 2 cups. You're going to bring it to a nice medium temperature. You're going to pour in your garlic. I just took about 2 full garlic cloves. We're going to get that in there. And we're going to let them roast and check back in a few moments. Now let me know in the comments, what type of chicken do you like? I'm normally a saute, bake kind of girl. Again, I don't fry a lot. I'm not a fan of fried food. But when you need a nice brown, see how it has a nice brown, not too burnt, not too anything. It's just cooking at a nice temperature. We're going to place it down for another 5 or so minutes. We're going to let that get brown on the other side as well. Now again, I want to know, what type of chicken do you like? Are you the type to fry everything, bake, or broil? Alright, so now we're ready. This is the part that we are going to take out. We're going to take out the chicken, and before we insert it into the oven, we're going to get started on our gravy. So you just want to check, make sure it's brown. This is a nice brown. And I have a little bit of parchment paper. I'm going to let these set for about another 2 minutes. Now, I want to tell you guys this. Mashed potatoes. We're spending so much time on the mashed potatoes, and that's because we want it to be nice and creamy, because once the chicken is done, once the gravy is done, that's what we're going to top the mashed potatoes with. The nice, beautiful chicken. Now, what you want to do in addition to roasting your garlic, in addition to adding some garlic in the water and some salt, you want to go ahead and add in, you want your mashed potatoes to be half potatoes, half fat. So how we get that is adding in some heavy whipping cream and 2 sticks of non-salted butter. We're going to add that in, and we're going to let it simmer over heat, because it makes no sense to add in cold ingredients into warm mashed potatoes, okay? Okay, so now that our potatoes are done, I'm going to show you a simple tip on how you know if your potatoes are done. Now, you can't overcook your potatoes where they're too mashy and they're breaking apart all in the water. You don't want that. What you want is just to take a fork, and you want your fork to be able to go through the potato. Now once it breaks apart, that's fine, but you don't want it to be crumbling. Like, I can still scoop these up without it breaking apart. So that's how I know it's at the perfect time. It took about 20 minutes. I'm just going to strain the potatoes now. And this is really a kitchen must-have. I mean, you need a strainer, you need a measuring cup, and you need a few basic kitchen knife and things like that. You really need good pots. If you're in the kitchen and you're cooking and you feel like it's not coming out, your chicken is over frying, getting too dark, everything seems like it's burning, that's maybe because you might have cheap pots. Invest in some quality pots, and it'll help your cooking experience go from burnt to better. Now that we got the potatoes out the way, we're not all the way done with it, but I'm going to set it to the side so we can get started on this gravy, so we can get the chicken in the oven and cooking can get done sooner than later. Now what you want to do is take some onions and you want to chop them, long, and you want to get some of your favorite vegetables. So I like some sweet peppers and I like greased scallions. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to add it into the oil. I removed a little bit of the oil because you don't want it too oily. It's going to mess with your gravy. So what you want to do is just take your vegetables. The oil is still warm, and we're going to get this sauteed so it can get a nice translucent color. It can be nice and see-through, a translucent. And what we're going to do after this is add in the flour that we used when we were flouring the chicken, and add in some chicken broth. Get that going and add back in the chicken. It's going to be amazing. It's going to smell amazing. It's really quick and easy. And if you didn't get the tip that I told you a few minutes ago, if you want to avoid having to brown your own chicken, season your own chicken, go to your favorite grocery store, go to your favorite fast food like a KFC, get a bucket of chicken, crispy, and you can start from this. You can start with the chicken from this step forward, and you're going to be able to get a great result if you're looking for something 30 minutes and under. I don't know. For me, I don't like to cook quickly. I like to fall in love with my kitchen. I like to fall in love with the ingredients, and that's really my hope for you guys. I don't want you to always want something quick, because cooking is a beautiful thing. It's something that you can do with your family. You don't always have to be in the kitchen long, but if you are, fall in love with it. So again, that's a tip for that. We're going to go ahead on. So what you want to do, you want to keep a little, like I said, you want to keep a little bit of the oil from the chicken. And a tip is, oil can burn if you do not pay attention to it. So make sure you're mindful of how hot your temperature is so that your oil doesn't burn. Here we go. So we're going to let that cook down. And once it cooks down, that's when we're going to add in this flavorful flour, and we're going to be able to get a nice gravy going. If you do want to know what kind of pots that I'm using, just comment below and I'll be more than happy to share with you guys the pots that I bought. And you see, it's going to get, it's cooking down. But I want you guys to look at the roasted olive oil that we created. The taste, I'm telling you, once we taste a little sample of it, you'll see how rich and beautiful it is. The good thing about the oil is once you take the roasted pieces and you put it into the mashed potato, you can set aside this oil and use it for your steaks, chicken, or cooking. Now you have homemade roasted garlic olive oil. Now if that's not a tip, I don't know what is. Let me know below if you've ever done that before. If not, let me know if you're going to try it out. So now that this is frying down, my pieces are kind of big, so I'm just going to let it cook down a little more. While you're cooking it, you'll be able to smell the amazing aroma. And this is going to be excellent for when you put your chicken back. Now, what I did, I added in some of the roasted garlic from the olive oil. I added in some minced garlic. It's cooking down nicely, so now what we're going to do is go add in our other ingredients. Alright, so we're going to add in a bit of our flour. And the key to this is you never want to stop turning, okay? And this is going to be able to allow our gravy to thicken. So again, you just want a little bit of it. You don't want to stop turning. I think I'm done. I think this is a good enough amount. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add in some chicken stock. And again, you do not want to stop turning. You want to keep going. You want to add it in slowly. And be sure to make sure your stove is preheating on 425. And if you need to add in a little bit more flour, that's fine. But as you can see, it's already getting thick. And it smells amazing. I mean, the onions, the roasted garlic, the minced garlic, and the sweet peppers. It has this amazing aroma. So we're going to keep going because we need the gravy to be able to cover the chicken. And after the chicken stock is fully immersed in and it's a nice consistency, we're going to go ahead and take it up a few notches and add in some heavy whipping cream. I don't have that much chicken, but again, I want my gravy to have a nice consistency. I want it to be enough so that when I bite into the chicken, the gravy is able to overflow and drizzle down. And I think what I'm going to do is just add in a little bit more flour. And you don't need too much flour. I do want to let you know you don't need too much flour. However, I just added in a few teaspoons because the heat, once it starts to do its magic, you're going to see that it's going to thicken on its own. And I'm just going to add in the last bit of this chicken stock. Again, you don't want to stop turning because you don't want anything to be clumpy. It's going to go in the oven, so again, you just want a nice consistency. And now that we got this in there, let it get a little thick, let the heat hit it, and let it do what it naturally is going to do. I'm just going to add in some heavy whipping cream. Okay, so now that we have this creamy goodness, as you can see, it's bubbling up. It's a really nice consistency. We're just going to take our chicken and place it into the pot. Beautiful, beautiful golden brown chicken. And I'm telling you, if you have the right pot, right temperature, you can't mess this up. So now that we have that beautiful chicken in there, I'm just going to scoop a little bit, turn off the stove. I'm just going to scoop a little bit of the gravy over top. Little bit of the gravy over top because that's going to go and infuse in while it's cooking in the oven. It's going to be amazing. Just a little bit. You can still see the color. And we're going to go ahead and add it into the oven and and finish off our mashed potatoes. So we have the chicken in the oven and we're back to finish off our mashed potatoes. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to taste it. This potato, and all we did so far was boil it in some salt, sea salt, some garlic for 20 minutes. It already tastes amazing. So we have this. What you need is one of these mashed potato mashers. You can find it at your local Target. That's going to help you get that creamy, creamy, creamy texture once you infuse in the whipping cream and the butter. Of course, sour cream if you want to add that in. And we have some sea salt and some black pepper in the bag just in case we need to add it in. So I'll move this to the side. I'm going to take a little strainer and I'm going to strain the roasted garlic. Now that we have the roasted garlic strained, what we're going to do is add it in to our mashed potatoes. We have the roasted garlic in, and I'm just going to taste. I love garlic. I told you guys in the last video when we made the shrimp and grits, it's never enough garlic. So I want to go ahead and taste this olive oil because I want to make sure I have some homemade official roasted garlic olive oil. So we're just going to take some. Oh my god. Yes. Homemade roasted garlic olive oil. We're going to set this to the side. We're going to add a little bit in. After that, you're going to be able to use this for, again, any steak, any fish, any chicken. Drizzle that on and you have a nice infusion of flavor. So we're just going to add some of this in. And this is the butter and heavy whipping cream. So we're just going to take that and add that in as well. Now you can take your time because you never know what your mashed potatoes need. Alright, cut. Okay, so like I said, you need one of these because watch how it takes the mashed potatoes and you just rake that off. That's gonna allow for your mashed potatoes to be full and fluffy and creamy. You just go down a few. You just keep raking it off. You don't want to miss anything. So I'm just going to put this to the side real quick and get a nice whisk together. You see how it's getting nice and creamy. I'm just going to add in a little bit of, I don't really even need anything, to be honest. I'm just going to add a little bit of butter and heavy whipping cream. And again, you want to take it slow because you never know how much give your mashed potatoes have. You don't want to make it too creamy and you don't want them to be too stiff. So just keep giving it a turn. Now it's loosening up. You see how creamy and fluffy the mashed potatoes are, and it smells amazing. Now the roasted pieces are still there. What you can do is you can kind of cut them up once you finish roasting them. I didn't do that, but as you see, this is a nice creamy texture. I think I want to leave it like this. I'm gonna just add a little bit more butter and a little bit more heavy whipping cream. Just a little bit. That's enough. I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, this is amazing. So if you have a spatula, you just take it and you just go around the groves so you can get a nice, so when you add the butter into it, nice and whippy. Okay guys, cooking time is done. We're gonna open up the lid for our moment of truth. If you guys can see the mashed potatoes, the grooves in it, it has the roasted garlic, it has the olive oil. Amazing. So, moment of truth. Dum da da dum. Woo! Look at this. I'm gonna take some of the cream. Look at that beautiful, beautiful cream sauce. Look at that. Woo! So we're just gonna drizzle on top, and then drizzle on top. then once it's okay, guys, I'm so happy that you can join me in my kitchen today. The meal is done. It smells amazing. I mean, come on, look at it. It looks amazing. Look at this mashed potato. I'm gonna take a deep dive in, and I'm gonna just tell you how it really tastes. We're gonna collect up some sauce, mashed potatoes. This sauce is this gravy, amazing. Let's try this chicken now. Oh, do you see how easy this chicken just breaks apart? That's how you know. Look at that. Look at that. Let me take some chicken by itself. I'm sorry, y'all. Amazing. I mean, the gravy, this garlic roasted creamy mashed potatoes, this buttermilk marinated overnight chicken. Beautiful textures. The chicken is all the way cooked through. It's falling apart. I should have a fork, but I don't. Let's toast. Thank you again. Episode 3. Join me again next week.